Maverick PT, little TZ1 C to TZ2, would be more TZ2 potentially. Transformational zone work with strategies for elongating and loading up the posterior shoulder joint and thoracic spine upon kind of release. And so a great little kind of technique that I'll share and I'll show to going after kind of this armpit region. We call that the hip flexor of the armpit. You have this axillary space. You've got this massive amount of tissue. You've got 17 muscles that attach to the scapula. Kind of posterior kind of shoulder where the medial triceps, the long head of the triceps will kind of come on up together and butt with, pass through kind of with the lats, the teres major and the teres minor, the infraspinatus. This can be a really, really kind of gunky area back here that can be irritable. So we'll go with some self-myofascial release work, lacrosse balls, just kind of hammer that stuff on out. But a natural form of myofascial release pertaining to movement in this and that, I'll set someone up in kind of this staggered stance positioning, because if you think about it, if we can take out the slack further down in the chain and then get after this tissue up here to load and get that good distraction of the humerus from the glenoid, we can create sufficient and great loadability to enable that tissue to load and unload well, so that we resist the kind of the chronic buildup of tendinopathies, failed tissue healing. And so what I'm going to take you through is kind of mimicking just kind of a right-handed thrower. So like our squats, like an LXX position, I'll go LXE. So I'm just going to open the feet on up with the feet staggered and the left leg forward. And I'm going to just take that right arm and I'm just going to basically swing and kind of throw down. And as I'm finishing right here, because I've taken out now the hips, the external rotation of the hips, so as I continue to move, I've taken up the slack and continue to load and load and load and load. I get a nice little kind of stretch up and through the back of the shoulder, and it's a great preventative measure for taking out other things. So this isolated integration phenomenon that Gary Gray and company have come up with, taking things out so that, and collaborating in other dimensions so that I can specifically go after other areas. So right here, I'm going after that posterior, kind of that shoulder girdle, going after specifically some of those rotator cuff like muscles a little bit, placing a little bit more stress on them, loading them up more, so that when I go to throw and swing at an object, it's going to be a lot easier. So we've got this LXE position. I'll maybe even kind of toe out even a little bit further with that right foot, and I'll swing. Maybe I'll go down and overhead a little bit more, maybe add a little side to side. I can really feel that getting loaded up and worked. Maybe I'll add a little more rotation to the mix. Up to you to kind of be able to experiment with that. And then I'll go a little bit wider. So an LWE position. LWE, so I'm staggered, I'm wide, I'm externally rotated. That was a little bit too far for me. And I can really feel that kind of getting loaded up in there. So strategies for combating kind of some of the posterior shoulder, girdle, and complex related issues, and loading things up well.